Moonraker isn't science fiction like Star Wars. It's science fact with shuttles, real shuttles. They were all the rage in 1978, 1979, and they hadn't even happened yet. Bond put the shuttle in space before anyone else. And it was a natural progression from You Only Live Twice, where he almost, Connery almost goes into space. But Roger managed to achieve what Cubby always wanted, which was eventually see Bond in outer space. And what space it was.
Thank you to Agent Philip Latchford there. There'll be more from him shortly. Hello. Welcome to the Bond Room Unlocked, whereby we take an item from this 27-year-old Bond collection and relate it to one of the films that we know and love. And this week we will be focusing on the 1979 Moore film Moonraker. Love it or hate it? Now, Neil, a stalwart Bond fan and non-lover of Moonraker, will go head-to-head with Agent Philip Latchford, who runs the Daily Moonraker Facebook group and loves all things about Bond in space. Welcome to the Moonraker debate.
Hello, Norfolk Agent here, to talk about what I don't like about Moonraker. And believe me, there's a lot I don't like about it. Most of all, it's the ultimate kitchen sink movie. You know, they've thrown everything at the screen, hoping that some stuff sticks, and it really doesn't. You know, let's send him to Brazil, because, oh, that's a bit exotic. You know, let's send him to Venice, because, oh, we've not done that before. It's almost as if they had a list of stuff that they needed to do, and especially after how good The Spy Who Loved Me was, they tried to outdo themselves with that, and it just doesn't work.
How do you do? Daily Moonraker here, defending Moonraker. Well, what can we say? Well, yeah, he said it was like throw the kitchen sink. Well, yeah, they threw the kitchen sink. But what a fantastic kitchen sink. We went to Rio. We went to Iguazu Falls. We went to Venice, even though they go there later on in Casino Royale. Forgot to mention that. Anyway, they go to Paris, even though it's not supposed to be Paris, it's supposed to be California. It goes everywhere. The whole point of Bond, and Fleming's Bond was here, a bit of a travel log. He likes to travel the world. What a lovely thing. He goes everywhere. He even goes to outer space. It's amazing. Yeah.
It's almost a spoof of Bond, you know, and it's just the most ridiculous Bond film. The stuff he does, the Bondola, the double-taken pigeon, all of that. It's just ridiculous. Jaws being good. I can live with Jaws falling in love because, you know, that happens.
Jaws being good is a good thing. How many films have we had where the villain turns good and saves the day? Well, we got a whole of Terminator 2. How good is that film? Return of the Jedi, Darth Vader, even he becomes good. It's a fantastic thing. And what I love and what makes this such a progressive film is the fact you've got someone with some sort of physical deformity isn't portrayed as a bad guy. This is the first woke Bond. You heard it here first.
And is there anything else that you dislike, Neil?
The music cues it steals from Close Encounters of the Third Kind and the Magnificent Seven, and it just feels empty. It feels vapid. It's not even by the numbers. It is just it's a mess. It's a real mess of a film.
So where do I sit with this film? Well, for me, Moonraker is with Octopussy. It is lower down in my ranks. But before Philip throws a cucumber sandwich at me, there is much I love about this film. Drax, the villain, say no more. Holly Goodhead, played by Lois Chiles, a totally underappreciated Bond girl who is very believable in the role that she plays, unlike some of the other Bond girls that we've seen in the franchise. And of course, you've got the magnificent set by Ken Adam, Drax's space station, and of course, the epic battle scene that's filmed on huge proportions. So there is much to like about this film, but I do agree with Neil. in terms of Jaws. I do prefer him in The Spy Who Loved Me. He was a formidable henchman in that, and more than a match for Bond. And I just feel that in this film, he's there for the comedic element, which in my opinion doesn't always work. If you take a look at one of my favourite Marvel characters, Thor, in the beginning, in the very first film, we saw Thor as a demigod. And then as we progress sort of like 10 years on, he's an overweight laughing stock. I much prefer the original. And but anyway, I digress. More thoughts from Philip.
But what I love about Moonraker the most is just how fun that film is. From the free fall skyfall scene to the Bondola. I love the Bondola, the double taking pigeon. It's just a lot of fun. And what's wrong with that? That's what they ought to get back to. Fun Bond.
Yes, we need fun back in a Bond film. Now, I'm the sort of Bond fan who wants Bond to defeat the villain and save the day and get the girl. So that's why No Time to Die from 2021 is low down in my film rankings. I want to come out of that cinema feeling uplifted. Like, yes!
It just absolutely leaves me cold every time. And I think the biggest bugbear I have with that film is the creepiest scene in it. Is the Rio hotel room. Roger is just so creepy in that scene with Manuela. It still gives me cringe every time I watch it. It's just the worst scene in the entire series. And there are some terrible scenes in the series. It just, oh, no. No.
I suppose I'm with Neil when I'd get rid of the Manuela scene. But personally, I think he's rather rude to the guy that shows in the President's Suite. Unnecessarily rude, I think. Anything else I'd take away? Nah. It's a lot of fun. You want high drama? Don't go see Bond for high drama. You want to be entertained. And with this one, you are entertained.
So my question to you, Neil, now is there anything that you actually like about the film?
There are a couple of things I like about the film. Mainly, Michael Lonsdale as Drax. Absolutely nails every line. He delivers his line, especially to Roger Moore's Bond, as if he's talking to a pesky nephew that he just wants out of the way. Like Bond is just like a pebble in his shoe, just something that, just a little irritant that he could really do without. And it's not boring. It's not a boring film. There's so much going on that you don't really have time to realise how ridiculous it just is. That's it. The only two things I like about the film. Oh, no, that's it.
Drax is one of my top 10 villains within the franchise, probably ranks about 6th. And he has some of the best lines in the films too. Michael Lonsdale, who plays Drax, just relishes every line that he is given. He balances the bemused by Bond element against the darker aspects of his character. I mean, he lets his Dobermans kill and feast on Corinne Cleary because of her deception against him with Bond. It's a moment.
And why do I love it so much? Well, because it's the first Bond I got to see on the big screen. Watford Odeon, summer 1979. And then for Christmas 1979, I got this, the Moonraker special. It was a Bond film you could go and see as a kid. Nowadays, you can't do that. The most kids to do with a Bond film are in it.
Now, you may have noticed that Philip was holding one of these, the James Bond 007 Moonraker special. It's an annual. I love an annual. And you can't get an annual for £1.75 now. And I really think they ought to bring Bond annuals back because they are so much fun. You know, it's not just, there's lots of fun activities and snippets to read, and we'll just have a quick look. I mean, of course, yes, there's parts about the Moonraker plot and the characters, which you would expect, but there's also a section on Ian Fleming. So if you weren't aware of Ian Fleming and the backstory of Ian Fleming, then it gives you an overview of his works. And we've also got a section on Bond's adversaries across the franchise, not just in Moonraker. And then we've got a good piece here on how they filmed the Moonraker scenes in Venice. It's just a great book, and I'm really pleased to have one in my collection. And I know that Philip takes his all round the world, and he gets it signed by cast members from Moonraker, which is out of its world itself. So Neil, my final question to you is, where do you rank Moonraker across the franchise?
And where does it rank on my list? Even if you include the non-EON Bonds, it's still second bottom. It's just above No Time to Die. It's not a film I think I'm ever going to love. Yeah, sorry guys.
No need to apologise, Neil. That's what makes the Bond community very special. We all have different views and ideas of what we like in a Bond film. No one is right or wrong. It's all subjective. Now, Philip, where do you rank Moonraker? I think I might know the answer to this.
It may not be the best, Majesties, but it's a lot of fun. And that's why it's my Moonraker 1.
So there you have it. Thank you to Neil and Philip for battling it out for Moonraker supremacy. But where does Moonraker sit with you? Does it go to the dogs, Drax's dogs that is, or is it high up there in space for you? Please drop a comment below. And if you've enjoyed this episode, then give it an MI6 stamp of approval and click on the notifications below. And why not subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any further missions covering all of the EON Bond films. You can also find me on Instagram and on the Bond Room Unlocked Facebook group too. Thank you for watching, and I'll leave you now with a bit of Bondioki. Take it away, Philip. See you next time.
Holds your touch, and it always seems you love